Josh, a lot of guys are coming here talking about energy and how it's a little bit different than in years past. How would you kind of describe what's going on in the building and what's that energy like?
Um, I guess you can say. I guess I can say like whatever you hearing from everybody else. I got like the same answer. Like the energy is perfect. With Coach Beamer and the coaching staff that he's bringing up in here, like everything, it feels like a lot different. Like everybody wants to be here. Like it just feels great. So the energy level like is where it's need to be right now.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, Josh, is Beamer's approach? You just kind of touched on it, but is it totally different than Muschamp? Anyway, in the media, we kind of get the impression as Muschamp is kind of the old school, grind it out kind of coach, and Beamer seems like he's got more of a love of the game, more lighthearted, fun approach to it. Is that maybe accurate?
I say a little bit like Muschamp, so he was a great coach. He had the love for the game too. It's just like you said, the old school approach and kind of like the new school, like what I'm saying. It's something that you can't really explain. Like you just gotta feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's just the feel that it just feels great.
Dick Cox.
Hi, Josh. Who is your accountability partner, and what is something new that you've learned about them?
My accountability partner is actually Jordan Birch. It's a weird setup how they got me and him together, but you just with the whole accountability partner, it's just something that you get to learn more about your teammate, and that's pretty much all it is. Make sure that myself or him, like we on top of our weight. If he ever has to come back to work out, he'll hit me up, and saying we come back and work out, do some cardio, or if we need to come back and eat, they'll provide food for us. It's just it's kind of funny who they all got us set up with. So they'll have like me, a receiver lined up with a DN, or they'll have an offensive lineman lined up with a quarterback. Like it's all like you get to talk to guys that you really normally don't talk to or hang out with because everybody's so busy or kind of separated with their position groups. So
Colin Taylor.
Josh, how would you evaluate your first 3 years on campus?
on campus or like
Just or playing, yeah. Just how would you evaluate your play the last couple years?
um I say my play it's been okay. It's not where it need to be right now. I take, I wouldn't say full blame, but it's certain things that I can do to change that, but I still gotta like, take coaching and whatever the coaches need me to do, I try to do that, I know I had to get my body where it need to be. But my first 3 years I was behind some great receivers that's two of them in the league and one is about to be in the league coming up in the draft. So, I just try to sit back and learn from them guys. When it's, my step, my turn to take the plate, I got to be ready for it. So,
And what are your impressions of this offense, 5 practices in, and your kind of role maybe in it?
um, I feel like the offense is looking good. I mean, it's definitely stuff that we need to work on. But I say my role is it's pretty much how it's been. They'll have me playing the X one day, or they have me playing the Z one day, or they might move me in the slot the next day. I take full pride in that because I'm like one. I think I'm the only one that can kind of play all those positions. So I feel like that's a good advantage on my end because if the coach need me anywhere, I can play it. So, you know.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Josh, I was want to ask you about Coach Stepp. Is there something that he has taught you, told you, a technique that you believe will help make you a better receiver?
Uh, Pretty much, just how I come out and take the field. How I go about stuff in my daily life. Just fixing my body language on little stuff. If the ball don't come my way, I tend to like drop my head or drop my shoulders. It's just little stuff that I got to work on. It's just it's just the little things. Shout out to BMAC. He kind of like so in high school, I never really had a receiver coach, so he was like literally my first receiver coach, and he pretty much like taught me a lot of stuff. You know, like I said, I learned from past receivers. So in the step, he's kind of like taking, I wouldn't say a total different approach, but it's just the little stuff that you really like. I never really like think of like I say, body language and stuff that I don't normally like think of how to do like on the field, like within routes and stuff. So.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, Josh, each of the past few years, you guys have kind of come into a season with kind of a clear cut one or two top receivers with the Bryans and the Debos and Shy last year. Is there kind of a sense of urgency in that receiver room to where, you know, you guys are all kind of fighting where we got to come up with at least one or two guys that could kind of be the go-to dependable guy? And I know you all want to contribute, but kind of is there a different sense of urgency this year because you don't have a clear cut number one in the wideout room?
Yeah, I truly agree with that. It is like that, you know. Everybody, that's the whole like that's the great thing about everything this year. Like, even if you're a returning player, first year player, like transfer player, it's a whole new offense. Like, there is no Debo, Brian, Shy. Like, there is no top dog receiver in here. Like, everybody is fighting for a position. Everybody's fighting for a spot. Everybody's fighting to be that top dog. So I feel like every day you just got to go out and you just got to make plays. These coaches, they enforce, you know, coming back up here and watch film, like the stuff that you don't do in practice. They look into that. I got to do a better job of, you know, come back up here to watch film or watch film at home. But everything is watched up here. So I feel like everybody has a fresh new start, and we all just got to, you know, just go out there and make plays.
Can you be that top guy? And what is it going to take for you to kind of maybe have that kind of breakout type of year to where, you know, you're the guy that everybody's looking to kind of make the key play?
I feel like I can definitely be that top guy, you know, but, you know what I'm saying, I've never been like a selfish player. So, you know, I don't really try to go to the coaches and stuff, be like, you know what I'm saying, kind of demand the ball or, you know what I'm saying, get me the ball. Like, you know, whatever the coaches need me to do, you know, I'm a craft it, and I'm a, you know what I'm saying, the best of my ability to make it happen. So wherever they need me at, you know what I'm saying, if they see an advantage for me in the slot, and if I can take advantage in the slot, I'm going to do that. If they want me outside, then that's where I'm going to be at. But like I said, right now, you know, I just try to take advantage of wherever they need me at. And, you know, the longer I continue to make plays, then it'll all come around, and they'll see.
Colin Taylor.
Josh, who are some of the guys now that you've been in practice for 5 days? What are some of the guys on the defensive side of the ball that have really caught your eye in one-on-ones or team drills?
They're pretty much, I say Cam. He's doing a good job. He just got back from quarantine, but that still didn't affect him. Cam is going to be Cam. RJ, you got Jordan. You know, I don't really try to look at I won't say I won't try, but, you know, it's kind of hard to even see the defensive line ball. I would say Black. It's a lot of guys, man. They all out there flying around, and they said it's the same for them. Like a whole new defensive staff other than Coach Peterson. You know, everybody just really trying to make a name for themselves, but, you know what I'm saying, they want to stay coachable. So everybody's pretty much out there flying around, you know what I'm saying, doing the best they can right now.
Last question goes to John Delbianco.
Hey, Josh, having played with Luke Doty last year, especially more towards the end of the season when he was starting and getting most of the reps, what kind of growth have you seen from him from, you know, October and November now here in April?
I would say the growth would just be the poise that he has. He always had the leadership. You know, he had some poise last year, but it was, you know, everything kind of got bundled up. You know what I'm saying? Muschamp being fired, and I would say the kind of end of the season, you know, everything was just like all jumbled up. But I say the growth that I see him at is the poise, and, you know, him trying to lead these other quarterbacks, you know, because it's the same for them. Like, it's a competition. So they all trying to, it's four of them. They all work, and they want to be the first guy too. So, you know what I'm saying? I would just say his growth is being the poise that he has.
All right. Thank you, Josh.